Watching celebrity chefs interact on television, you might be inclined to think that not only do they all know each other, but that they also have genuine affection for one another. While that isn't always exactly the case, sometimes it's exactly how it is. And that goes double for the celebrity chefs you see amiably joking with one another on the Food Network. As chef and culinary competition judge Antonia Lofaso told Mashed during an exclusive interview about restaurant Reboot, which she co-hosts with celebrity chef Guy Fieri,
all of us that are in sort of the Food Network world are like a little family.
Lofaso was referring in part to the fact that she, Fieri, Alex Guarnascheri, and other Food Network stars enjoy spending time together outside of work. But what Lofaso was really getting at was that all that time spent together out of the kitchen has served to cultivate an abiding closeness and understanding between them. Often, that closeness and understanding is part of what makes the Food Network's programming so compelling. Chefs, judges, and contestants interacting in a considerate and respectful way can be a breath of fresh air for viewers who are used to cooking shows that are more detached in their approach. It's also why shows like Fieri's restaurant Reboot are even possible, let alone successful. In fact, it was a single emotional moment that happened between Antonia Lofaso and Guy Fieri, a private moment between friends that may have planted the seed that ultimately grew into both the documentary Restaurant Hustle and Restaurant Reboot. Both projects aimed to help restaurants bounce back after the hardships of the COVID-19 pandemic. Back in March 2020, before the harsh realities of what a pandemic-related lockdown really meant had become apparent to many, the restaurant industry was already reeling. Lofaso had to suddenly close one of her 3 LA restaurants and reduce hours for her staff. The chef was sitting in one of her other 2 restaurants, Scopa, bagging groceries. She and her remaining restaurant staff were putting together packages for people for whom leaving home for any reason, let alone going into a grocery store, would have presented too high a risk. In the midst of all of this chaos and uncertainty, Lofaso's phone rang with a FaceTime call from Guy Fieri. Fieri sometimes likes to FaceTime with Lofaso as kind of an inside joke because he knows about what she called her weird obsession with FaceTime. Lofaso explained to Mashed. Lofaso picked up the phone and promptly broke down in tears.
And I just saw his face and heard his voice. He's like, "Sister, what's going on?" And I just started crying.
It was a single moment between Lofaso and Fieri, chef to chef, but it was also an emotional one, friend to friend. The FaceTime conversation must have deeply affected Fieri, given what he did immediately after. By the next morning, Fieri sent Lofaso a text to inform her that he had set up a meeting with Courtney White, the head of Food Network. By that afternoon, the documentary Restaurant Hustle, which ended up being a sort of prequel to Restaurant Reboot, had been greenlit. Lofaso explained.
So, I think that when he saw me on FaceTime and I was crying, it was like there was a thing where he'd be like, "We should record this."
Even when Lofaso expressed her skepticism about starring in a documentary while so many restaurant workers were without jobs, Fieri knew it was the best decision she could make, including for her staff. Fieri explained just how powerful it would be for the world to see the documentary, and once it was a go, her reservations evaporated.
Now looking back at it, I'm like, this is a part of history.
Lofaso now sees the project as Fieri figuring out a way to let the public at large know what was going on in the restaurant industry in 2020 and make food service employees feel supported. And that, as far as Lofaso is concerned, is the biggest thing that's happened over the last year and a half in the restaurant industry.
We all rallied behind each other in a way this year that we've never seen before.
If you haven't yet seen Restaurant Hustle 2020 All on the Line, you can catch it on Food Network or Discovery Plus. To see more of Antonia Lofaso, you can watch her co-hosting Lending Tree's Restaurant Reboot with Guy Fieri, which is streaming on more than 20 platforms. Check out one of our newest videos right here. Plus, even more Mashed videos about your favourite celebrity chefs are coming soon. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the bell so you don't miss a single one.